I don't know how many of you remember the allegation that Donald Trump essentially got his own former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, jailed and put in a solitary confinement. But we actually have follow up on that story. It's not exactly a story that brings me pleasure to report to you. As the Daily Beast reports, Donald Trump just officially got away with jailing Michael Cohen back in 2020. Michael Cohen was jailed and put into solitary in 2020, seemingly because he protested being silenced as he was trying to do press for his book. The article explains Trump will face no repercussions over how he appears to have used federal prison guards to intimidate Michael Cohen, jailing and silencing him in 2020 ahead of his tell-all memoir about Trump's mob-like behavior. What happened? Well, Tuesday, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York affirmed the federal judge's decision to dismiss the case. The case relates to this authoritarian episode in Trump's final year of his presidency. The three-judge panel would not let Michael Cohen use a legal remedy, which lets someone who's been abused by federal agents seek justice. The panel did acknowledge something unfair happened because Michael Cohen was thrown back in prison on flimsy reasoning, and the case was only resolved through extraordinary intervention by a judge who said, hey, you've got to let Michael Cohen out. Ironically, the judges ruled it was the very intervention that now prevents Cohen from holding Trump and certain government agents accountable because of a 1971 Supreme Court case. But the bottom line here is as follows. The Fed started cracking down on the way that Trump paid off porn star Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet. And that case essentially ended in 2018 when federal prosecutors took down Michael Cohen for campaign finance violations and tax charges. You may remember that. This is because he was the one who arranged the payoff and was reimbursed for it as Trump's lawyer. Cohen was at that federal prison in Otis, New York, and he was working on his book Disloyal, about which we've interviewed him. When COVID hit, some prisoners were allowed to continue sentences at home. And indeed, Michael Cohen, and we interviewed him when he was on home confinement, he was allowed to go to his New York City apartment, and he started saying, hey, this memoir is coming. I'm going to be bringing this memoir. At a certain point there, he was re-jailed. And Michael Cohen points to Bill Barr, the then Attorney General in the Justice Department, at the direction of Donald Trump. He sat in solitary confinement 16 days after a federal judge said, you can't do this. You can't do this. You've got to let him out. Michael Cohen has insisted that was a punishment brought down directly at the direction of Trump through his Attorney General, Bill Barr. I am seeking recourse for that. And a three-judge panel has now said, we are not going to allow you to do that. They recognize what happened to Cohen was unfair, but they say we aren't going to let you actually seek those redress for the grievances, which means Trump effectively got away with jailing his own former lawyer for 16 days in solitary confinement because he did not like the book that he was writing. This was before Trump openly said, I'm going to try to get my political enemies prosecuted, investigated, indicted, and jailed. Trump is now telling us that he's going to do it in his second term. So if you remain on the fence about electing an authoritarian dictator wannabe like Trump, we have examples of how he has previously used his power in these disgusting ways. And he's telling us, I'm going to do more of it. Hey, they did it to me, so I'd be totally right to do it to them. He's been saying in interviews for a while. We don't need to imagine. He did it to Michael Cohen, and he's going to do it to more people because he's telling us that he's going to do it.